Hi everyone, my name is Rafael Lemos, and along with my colleague Davi Medeiros, we're both EducationUSA advisors at Mackenzie Presbyterian University in São Paulo. EducationUSA is a U.S. State Department network that aims to provide information regarding U.S. higher education institutions, and we're here today with the University of Kansas. We have 3 representatives from this institution in specific. They're going to talk about the University of Kansas being a research university with global reach. Now, their presentation, they will also talk about scholarship opportunities, life on campus, and so on. So feel free, if you have any questions, to put on the chat. They will have around 40 minutes for their presentation, and then we're going to have some minutes for Q&A as well. So Maria, Zaida, Hadir, feel free, the floor is yours.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we begin, we're going to play a little video we would like to share with you.
When I was looking for a college,
Sorry, there we go.
I was looking for somewhere where I would feel like at home.
I saw other colleges before I came here. KU was just different.
I just like the vibes, being a Jayhawk.
Is the volume okay?
Yeah, we can see the visa.
You can't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll replay. Thank you.
I was looking for somewhere where I would feel like at home.
I saw other colleges before I came here. KU was just different.
I just like the vibes, being a Jayhawk.
This was my first experience being here in the United States, being in KU. The International Student Services at KU does an amazing job at what they do.
They showed me how to get my Social Security. You know, they showed me how to apply for a job.
When I have questions about application or about immigration, they helped me a lot. They are also willing to help you with planning. So all of the resources are there and they are willing to match those resources with your needs. And I feel very comfortable working with them.
I didn't expect that there were going to be so many opportunities for me here. As an aerospace engineering major, you really get hands-on since your first class. Getting that experience, it has me amazed.
How do I feel KU's preparing me for a design career? That in these classes, I'm being pushed to take my design to the next level. We also have opportunities to work as like graphic designers in the design departments. So it gives you that work experience.
The magic of KU is that university professors are very knowledgeable and they're very helpful and approachable.
As a researcher, my faculty and my colleagues, everybody is very accessible.
They want you to reach out to them, and they reach out to you as well. If you're considering KU right now, at KU, you're going to find great people, so many resources. Just get yourself out there.
The biggest piece of advice would be just branch out. Don't be afraid. Don't think that people are judging you by the way you speak or you look, because that is not what community is about here.
When I tell them like, oh, I am from Honduras or I speak Spanish, they're like, oh, I know some Spanish too. They always get like pumped up when I tell them that I'm an international student.
Everybody welcomes your difference and is happy to celebrate it, and they would love to learn about your experience as an international student at KU. And being able to share that with larger community and seeing that interest, you can't put a price tag on that.
Very good. So thank you again. Oops, hold on. Screen. There we go. There we go. Good evening. Thank you again for being with us. My name is Isabel Alcázar. I am an international recruiter based in San Jose, Costa Rica, along with Saida Ugalde. And today we have Hadir Shaheen. She's our senior recruiter from the University of Kansas, who will also be joining us and answering your questions. To begin, I want to tell you a little bit about the University of Kansas. It's a university with more than 28,000 students across 5 campuses. Over 2,100 of those students are international. So we have more than 110 countries represented in KU. We are members of the Association of American Universities, which is an invitation-only association where we have over 65 universities from the United States and Canada, and KU was one of the invited universities. And this means that the budgets allotted by the state for research are bigger for these universities in the north part of Americas, in Canada and the US. We have over 345,000, I'm sorry, KU alumni across the world, which means that the networking that you'll be part of will be huge. And you'll have access to many people around the world in order to find better opportunities, jobs, internships, even help mentors, you know, so it's a great thing to have. We have hundreds of undergrad and graduate programs, which we will talk to you about. Now, to tell you a little bit about Lawrence, as you can see in the map, Lawrence is right in the middle of the United States. And I want to read you a little blurb that I found about Lawrence, which I thought was amazing. It says, Lawrence is a city happy to be what it is, a city doing its own thing, in its own way with free thinkers. Founded by pioneers driven to create a state where people of all races would be free, Lawrence defines itself as an open, welcoming, energetic community. Quirky, different, unexpected, yes. We invite you to define your own version of a city that offers an escape from the ordinary. So yes, Lawrence is a small town of 200,000 people. So, but it's a beautiful town. It's a small town that dedicates, whose life is the university. So whenever there's a game, activities, even orientation week, students participate in this and the whole town becomes a part, okay? This is why they have this motto here, unmistakably Lawrence. It's a beautiful city, even though it's a small, like I said before, it's a small city. They have Mass Street, which is the street right here, the one I was telling you about, this one right to the right, where the events happen. You have parks, you have lakes, wonderful restaurants from all over the world, clubs, little shops where you can purchase what you need, very close to the campus too. Now, if you need a little bit of a bigger city, you have Kansas City. Kansas City is 40 miles away from Lawrence. It's a major metropolitan city, famous for its barbecue, for its American barbecue, with an international airport where you can fly to or fly from. We have professional sports team, and the art and jazz scene is very popular. In the summer, to give you an idea, one summer I was able to visit, they had art nights, let's say, where all the galleries brought their art out to the street. So people would walk around and have drinks and just chat and look at all the amazing artists that they had in their shops. Now, when we talk about Kansas City, aside from the fact that it's a metropolitan city, we have over 1,000 companies that operate from that area. What does that mean for KU? It means that you have access to internships and research in companies like H&R Block, Hallmark, Russell Stover, AMC, American Century. And this is an amazing opportunity for you guys as students, because then, like it's encouraged at KU, you can start doing research and work from day one. In regards to seasons, Lawrence has 4 distinct seasons: cooler autumns, snowy winters, beautiful springs, and hot summers. And the really cool thing about this is that the university adapts to the seasons. So if it's summer and it's nice out, you can have classes outside. Last 2 weeks ago, they had a snow day, so no classes, but students went out and went sledding. The autumn is beautiful, like you can see with the changing of the leaves. And students get to take advantage of all that. In student life, we can tell you that there's 11 residence halls, 3 apartment complexes, 12 scholarship halls, and food and dining plans. This will all be, you will choose what you need, what you want, and what's within your budget. So that's, you have a great variety to choose from. We have sports, recreation center, music and theater, over 600 student clubs where you can participate, cultural events, leadership opportunities. To give you an idea of the how important it is for Lawrence, the success of its students, we have a career center, which offers a wide variety of services designed to support and challenge students. So if you need a job, you can go to the career center once you're in the university. They will help you explore your careers and gain experience when you're ready to search for jobs. You can have career coaching appointments, which help you with career planning, reviewing your resume, internship information. You will do mock interviews, you will search for jobs. You will even be able to learn how to negotiate salary and offers. They will give you graduate school information, and also they will provide you with access to networking, like I was saying before. In regards to student life, I was talking about the clubs that you can participate in, and just to give you an example, they have beekeeping club, they have Hearts from the Homeless, chess club, bridge club, religious clubs, associations that deal with the environment. Aside from these amazing basketball games, which is what KU is famous for. Now, to talk about programs and majors, Saida will take the floor.
Thank you, Isa. Yes, we're definitely a beautiful place to be. By the way, the university campus is considered, not by KU, but in different magazines, considered one of the most beautiful campus in the US. So that is, you could see from the pictures. In schools, there are 14 undergrad schools here in, as you know, the University of Kansas is a liberal arts and science university. So we have STEM programs in engineering, business, for example. We have liberal arts, we have nursing, social work, journalism. A lot of these schools offer a lot of different programs. So in KU, we say that we have your major and 400 more, because that's approximately the amount of areas in which you could actually specialize. And if you don't know what to study, because there's so many options and so many possibilities, we could also help you with that in the process of deciding. The University of Kansas has something called the exploratory pathway. In this programs, you could actually go and during the first year take classes in different departments, different schools. All of this, of course, using the orientation of an advisor that would be assigned to you. So you could take classes, for example, in arts, or perhaps a class in business, in social welfare, and then decide what makes you really happy and go for where, what thrives, what makes you thrive, and be amazing at what you will be doing. Okay, so in the area, just to give you an example, in liberal arts, we have over 120 programs in areas such as psychology and behavioral neuroscience, astronomy, physics, and many options in the biological sciences. So these are only the main schools, but within those schools, we have a lot of different departments for you to choose from. And the other thing that I wanted to mention before we continue is that we also have webinars and office hours every week. So if you have any questions after this, please make sure to contact us so that we can send you more information about any of the majors that you may not see listed here. The other thing is that because of time, we're gonna only mention 4 of the schools here, but we are actually very popular, but there's information, of course, about every school that we could send to you. So could you please start with the first one? We're gonna be talking about engineering, business, and the School of Arts and Architecture in this presentation. Okay, these are some of our most popular schools. Okay, but of course they're all great programs, and these are just to show you some of the things that they do in these schools. The School of Engineering is the main purpose is educating engineers for pioneer technologies and to solve problems of the world. We have areas in aerospace engineering, bioengineering, chemical, civil, architectural, computer science, physics, and mechanical engineers. But there are also other areas, for example, in computer science that are combined with other schools to create other majors. For example, if you study computer science with economics, you think, where do I work after that, right? And computer science and economics perhaps you would want to work in Wall Street, or computer science and physics, or the idea is that these schools collaborate also with other schools to in research and in creating solutions to in the different programs. Please, the next slide. And in this, I'm going to mention one of the examples here that we talked about in aerospace engineering, one of the schools in engineering. This program has won more global design awards than any university in the world, actually, the aerospace engineering program, because of the Association of American Universities that Isa mentioned before. The engineering schools, as well as the other schools, get a lot of funding through organizations such as NASA, National Security Agency, the National Science Foundation, and actually many others. And this allows students to do research from the very beginning and to get involved and apply this knowledge to solve specific problems. Next, please. And in this example, we have, for example, 4 students that graduated from our aerospace engineering are astronauts. One of them is actually a professor at the university, came back to teach a class, to teach and do research at the University of Kansas. So those are only some of the examples in the aerospace engineering student graduating from there. Isa, could you please give me the next slide? Could work on in the area of aircraft, automobile industry, commercial airlines. There are many different areas in which the student graduating from this area could actually work. Thank you. The next school that I want to talk about is the School of the Arts. And it is said that this school has or is the creative heart of the university. How beautiful is that? And it's all about innovation, performance, creation, and transformation. And when I say transformation, I'm talking about not only transforming the way we do things, but transforming the person itself. And this is possible because these classes here at the School of the Arts are, the ratio is 10:1, 10 students per professor. So you imagine the opportunities of personal growth that these students will actually have in these classes. And at the same time, they have the support and the collaboration of a very extensive network, because the university is 30,000 student university. So it's a large university, and you're able to implement your ideas and creativity, because the classes are so small. So you get a lot of very personal attention. And then the areas that we have here are dance, film and media studies, theater, visual arts. And in the next slide, you will see that, and we want to mention this because sometimes we emphasize the achievements of, for example, STEM, but because this is a liberal arts university, we want you to see how it is also, arts is very important, as well as every school. In this picture here on the right, we have Professor Wilmot, who's KU professor, actually, and he won an Oscar for one of his movies, and people thought he was going to stay in Hollywood, but he's like, no, he's so excited about the work that he does with students. He was more excited about going back and showing them and working with, continuing doing research with students and bringing back what he learned also. But this shows you the passion that professors have and the love they have for the school. We can also see a picture of on the bottom left. This is they're working to put a play. There's also dance. We have professional dancers come, and some of the graduate students, in art and dance as well, are very well-known artists nationally. Thank you. Next one, please. The other school that we wanted to just give you a little bit of an idea of what they do is the School of Architecture, Design, and Planning. And in this, we have the Department of Architecture, Design, and Urban Planning. In architecture, students graduate in a period of 5 years. They go for the bachelor program, but graduate with a master's degree in 5 years. So most programs, you would go for 4 years and 2 graduate, 2 years for a master's. But in this case, after the 5th year, you would graduate with a master's degree, which you need in order to be a professional architect, for example. The School of Architecture, right from the very beginning, has always been in the top 20, sometimes top 10, or even #1 in many of the projects that they do nationally. So this is a program that has been accredited from the very beginning of its foundation, and part of it is because of the quality of education, the professionals, and how these, Isa, could you give me the next slide, please? How they work on the academic knowledge is put into practice. And in this picture, we have one example of that is this student who developed a flexible furniture project and won a prize for that. And that was in 2015. But this is just to give you an example of how, they put learning into practice by making and doing research and engaging in community work. And in the next slide as well, I'm going to give you one example, because there are many others, of some of the projects that students do in the School of Architecture. Studio 804, you can actually look it up and see more amazing pictures. But this is a not-for-profit corporation that works for research, development of sustainable building solutions, right? So students on their 5th year of the School of Architecture are able to join Studio 804 and create, design, and do the whole process from the ground up, basically. So they imagine the building, they design it, They throw the concrete on the ground, get the permits, build the structure, roofing, panels, if it's solar panels, for example. All of these buildings, the idea is for them to be sustainable and to be also solutions, very affordable solutions for housing or for community buildings. And so they do the whole process until you get the keys for the building. So this is these are amazing projects that show how hands-on and how it's not just a class or theory, but students bring that into the community, into practice, into businesses. Thank you. Please. Let's talk about the next school. The School of Business is another school that has amazing reputation around the world. This is school is part of the 5% of the business programs in universities are part of the Association of Business Schools. And what it means is that they have to show a very important element, which is the putting into practice and collaborating, not only with professors, students, but also with businesses. The idea is to create a network of collaboration for research as well. The School of Business has several majors, including accounting, business administration, finance, information systems. As you can see, there are several ones. There are others also not listed there. For example, students can also do accounting and international business. Okay, so they could actually do joint programs or minors in other areas as well. The School of Business has approximately more than 25,000 alumni throughout all over the world. So adding to the net that Isa was talking at the beginning of over 300,000 students, 25,000 of those are graduate students from the alumni from the School of Business. So the connection that you could have through the alumni is quite amazing. The commitment of the school, it says it's a place of academic excellence that empower students to be the leaders in business and to improve this area in business in which they decide to get involved. Okay, and thank you. These are all the schools that we're gonna mention. This School of Business, by the way, is this building here on the right. It's state-of-the-art building with everything you can imagine to thrive at the school. For example, you have a finance lab. There's an area where we have businesses actually from the Kansas City area that come or are invited to come and work fair and join a work fair and interview students. It could be just for practice, like a mock interview or actual interview for jobs. We also have in this area the Career Center as well, specifically for business, where they help the students prepare academically, and also they tell them about the opportunities in, for example, internship programs, or if there is a business that needs a student and is offering a summer program for students to join, or if there is a program that students could actually join in order to improve their curriculum vitae, for example. So the idea is to support students every step of the way, so that they are actually the best they can be in what they do. And this is part of the support that they get at the School of Business. So this is a very amazing program as well. Thank you, Isa. And I'll let Hadir continue with with more information about the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Saida. That was great. So let's talk a little bit about our Applied English Center. So here at AU, our AEC is one of the oldest English centers in the US. Also, depending on the proficiency level of the students can start studying English first and then transitioning into their academic classes. And we have 5 different within the AEC. Each level is a semester. We test students when they arrive on campus and make sure that they are placed in the right level. Also, depending on the major, some English classes can count towards the student's degree. Some services that the agency provides are conversation groups, cross-cultural advising, and tutoring for students. Next slide, please. So let's talk about scholarships. I know that scholarships tend to be one of the important topics for international students that are considering to study in a different country, especially the US. We offer 4 different merit-based scholarships for international students. The first one is International Excellence, or the KUIEA. Also, it's known as the tuition fee waiver. And it's our highest and most competitive scholarship. And I'm going to talk about it in more details in the next slide. But we also offer tiered scholarships, and they start at $3,000, $6,000, $9,000. Depending on the student, there are also automatic scholarships, which means that you don't have to apply for the scholarship. You will be considered automatically when you apply for admission to the university. All our scholarships are renewable up to 4 years for freshmen, as long as you maintain a GPA of 3.0. Next slide, please, Isa. So let's talk a little bit about the KUIEA, or the tuition fee waiver. As I mentioned, it's the highest and most competitive scholarship. It's offered only and has a deadline of February 15th. So students who are eligible receive an invitation to apply to scholarship. Students are required to have a 3.5 GPA. They need to submit an English proficiency test, a personal statement, 2 letters of recommendation, a resume or a CV, and they need to choose 3 extracurricular activities from their resume to talk about them and how they've been meaningful to them. Next slide, please, Isa. So being on the scholarship review committee, I just thought to share with you some guidelines on the scholarship application. So some do's and don'ts. So it's very important to follow application directions. Also, we like to reach out to us and ask questions. So if there's anything you're not sure about, please email us and ask. For your resume and CV, please include any volunteering activities that you participated in. We want to know about any leadership experience that you had, and please keep it concise, so maximum 2 pages. Do not submit 10 pages because that's not going to increase your chance to get the scholarship. For the personal statement, try to tell us yourself and about your interests. Highlight what you're proud of or challenges that you face. Try to make your statement stand out, make it unique. And definitely do not use any old assignment or a generic template. For recommendation letter, please ask your teachers and employers. Avoid asking friends or parents. Teachers and or academic advisors will be able to talk about your skills, your achievements. They can also provide a really good reference for you. So I think that's helpful. Next slide, please. These are some application updates. We are currently test up, so students do not have to take any ACTs or SATs. If you're planning to take them anyways, then please submit your scores with the application. The department will still look at them. I've also listed the deadlines on the slide. So June 1st is our fall application deadline. November 15th is our spring application deadline. I always recommend students to start their application earlier because the visa process can take some time. So it's always be prepared and start earlier. Finally, students can apply either through word.ku.edu/apply or through Compass We ask students to pay the application fee, upload all their documents to the portal. The documents that we require are transcripts. So you need to submit all your transcripts, a graduation certificate. If you haven't graduated yet, you don't have to submit the certificate right away. You can submit it later, and English proficiency test. And we accept a lot of different tests. Next slide, please, Isa. So I've added our contact information. Please feel free to take a picture of this slide. You can email us with any questions you might have. And before I end the presentation, I just would like to share with you that we currently have 21 students from Brazil, and they are majoring in architecture, business, music, journalism, pharmacy, and we have 7 students in the engineering school. So we definitely be happy to help you apply to KU and be a Jayhawk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was a great presentation, a lot of really important information that could really help students applying to KU. And yeah, do you guys have any questions for them regarding anything from scholarships to applications to the schools that they were talking about? Feel free to use the chat. Em português, por favor, utilizem o chat. Caso vocês tenham alguma pergunta, podem fazer em português, que nós traduzimos para o inglês, qualquer assunto. So feel free to ask anything. They're here to answer your questions. I would like to receive information about the forms. All right. Scholarships. We're going to send your contact information, if you said so, to the university so they can contact you. Catalog. Oh, I guess we have a question. Are there any summer programs happening at Kansas University, University of Kansas, I'm sorry, like short-term programs?
We do have different short-term programs. It depends what you want to study. Some of our short-term programs would include studying English, and those are typically more fun because we do a lot of activities in the summer. I can send you the link. If you can share with me your information, if you can send it directly to me, not to everyone, your email, I'll be happy to share with you more information about our summer English program. Also, if you are wanting to study academic courses, we do offer this as well. So it depends what you want to study.
Right. So Ken, feel free to send your email directly to Hadir. And those scholarships cover housing and everything.
So actually, our scholarships, it's either the KUIEA, which is the tuition fee waiver, so that covers only the tuition, or the tiered scholarship that starts at $3,000, $6,000, and $9,000, and that covers just a portion of the tuition and fee, so it doesn't cover housing. For housing, we do have different options depending on your budget. Also, we have some students that can work on campus in housing, and they can receive a scholarship as well.
All right, great. We have another question, this time in Portuguese. Is there a pathway to achieve English proficiency? The person, I guess the person didn't get that part that you were talking about. Could you explain a little bit more about that? English programs and so on.
Yes, yes. So students, in order to apply for a major, they need to submit an English proficiency test. We don't require a specific score because students can start studying English first and then transition into their academic classes. As I mentioned, our AEC is 5 levels, and we test students whenever they arrive on campus to place them in the right level. Level 1 to 3 are only English programs. Level 4, students start to take some academic classes. So 2 English classes, 1 academic class. Level 5, students would take 1 English course and 2 academic classes. So yes, it's a pathway, and depending on the major, some of the English classes would count towards their degree.
Oh,
Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. Can you talk more about the cost of life in Kansas in comparison to other states?
Yes, so Kansas is famous for lower cost of living, especially compared to New York, California, DC, and actually KU was one of the universities that afford quality education with a reasonable price. So we have an estimate cost for living in Lawrence for a year. It's around $14,000. $14,000. This includes housing, health insurance, personal expenses, books, everything. Isa, do you want to eat, or Saida, do you want to add anything?
Yes, I was going to say, comparing, and every time we have gone to KU, to the university, compared to the cost of living, even here in Costa Rica, it's we find that it is a lot more affordable in Kansas, in Lawrence. So, and I assume it is very similar to the case in Brazil. Housing. Now, the students do share housing, so to make it more affordable. Sometimes we want students to live on campus, so especially the first year. But sometimes after the second year, they prefer to rent a house and rent it with other students and to make it even more affordable. But yes.
And also, please remember, like you mentioned before, that we were able to work legally in campus for 20 hours a week during the regular semester and for 40 hours a week during the summer. And that's a great way to help yourself with your personal expenses if there's a need.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing, $14,000 a year for a room and board, it's what it's at the highest. It could be less than that. It could go from 8,000 to 14,000, depending on your choice. If you have a single room, or if you're sharing a room, or like I said, living in a home with other students. So this varies.
All right, thank you very much. People also want to know about deadlines to the school year, English programs. Is there a different deadline for them, or?
No, they both have the same start date. So start date for undergraduate students for the fall semester is August 10th. This is the first day of classes. Students can arrive 30 days before the start date to do orientation, to check out Lawrence. Orientation is a big part of KU. Our orientation is 1 week long, and it's called You at KU. We introduce you to your academic advisors, to student organizations. There is a course on our platform for you to take to know more about culture and studying in the US. And you get to make your friends from the start during orientation. So we encourage students to arrive a little bit earlier, to start the process earlier, get their visa, and arrive on time so you can do all of that.
Great. We have more questions? Feel free to add them on the chat. Anything?
I was going to say, they're asking about Second Life. Thank you. But we do have, yeah, I'm so happy. We do have webinars from business and engineering specifically coming up soon. So we could send you the link, and students could actually register ahead of time and participate also with live professors or representatives from the schools specifically. So thank you.
Also, you can schedule.
Exactly that. Go ahead, dear.
You can schedule a one-on-one appointment with us too.
I just pasted the link where you can sign up on the chat.
Yes, thank you. And Fernando, would you mind sending me your email so I can email you more details about our English summer camp?
Okay.
And I think Rodrigo Cunha was also asking about specific programs. If you could send us also the email.
Yes, because I saw those
send
were
more
graduate
information.
programs, correct?
Yes, for law specifically.
Yes, and we do, our School of Law is awesome. It's very highly ranked. We have different emphasis area within our School of Law. The only thing is that the scholarship or the funding opportunities are different from the undergraduate scholarship because each department has its own fundings when it comes to graduate programs. So I would be happy to connect you with the School of Law. They would have more details.
Okay.
And for everybody, the link that I pasted for international Spanish, it says, we have office hours. Saida and I from Costa Rica on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in the morning and afternoon. And you can sign up for those, and we'd be happy to speak English, Spanish, whatever you need, and answer all your questions and help you with your parents, your guardians, whoever needs to talk to us, we'll be happy to help.
I think we can, if you don't speak English, we can probably understand between Spanish and Portuguese. Get an idea. Right.
Great. Any last questions? Final comments? Feel free to use the chat.
I will also put my email. If you have any questions, to email me. Yeah, I'll check about this if we actually do have a summer program in law. I know for sure we do have a summer program in English, and as I mentioned, it's super fun, but I would have to check about law.
All right. Any last questions? I don't think so. I think we have reached the end of the questions. So I want to thank you so much for this great presentation. A lot of really useful information you brought today. This session will be available on our YouTube channel, EducationUSA Brazil. So everyone can come back here, maybe rewatch this presentation. So if no one else has any questions, I guess we can start wrapping up for today. And on behalf of EducationUSA, we want to thank you very much. And thank you for this great session. right?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
You, bye-bye.